and we're just going to call this login, and this will interact with our login. And we don't have the endpoint available right now. We don't have the endpoint available for the login. So what we can do is to go ahead and create that endpoint. So right here in our Auth service, let's create the service first. This will be a public endpoint as usual, and this will be login, and this will have a body of login DTO that we created earlier. This will return a promise of user with token. Okay. All right. So the first thing we want to do is to destructure those data out of the login. So we have the email and we have the password. Okay, equal to body. So we're destructuring those data first, and we're going to be using the query builder for this. So we're not going to be using type-orm, we're just going to be using query builder. So let's just say user equal to await this user repository, and right here we want to say dot create query builder. Okay, so and the table is user, and we now want to start giving it the conditions. Okay, so where user dot email equal to user, and we pass the value of that email, and we just get one. Okay, we just get one, and that's it. That's just It's just simple as that. That's it. And right now we can say if we don't have any user, if we don't get any response, like we don't find any user in our database, we just throw new found not found exception, and we just say no user found with those with that email. Okay, so we can do this. And if we have a user, that means we're still getting the email of the user. So we also need to compare the password, and that's where the auth helper that we created, which we were using to like is password valid. This is where the function that we're going to use that function. So let's say it's password valid, and that's going to be a boolean. That will be a boolean, and we're going to say this dot auth helper dot is password valid, and we pass those two password into it. So first will be the password that the user type in the form, and the second one will be the password that is coming from the user's um, data. So dot password. So we compare those two passwords. If there is a match, if there is a match between those two password, then we continue. If there is no match, then we throw an error. So we say if is password valid is not true. So if it's not true, then we throw another error. So bad request, and this will be what? No login details is not correct. Okay, let's just leave it at this. And right now, if we can validate the user. If the user makes it to this point, we just create dot authepa dot what generate token, and we just put that user there. And basically this is all we need to do. And let's just go and create the controller method for that. Let's just go ahead and create the controller method for that. So the first thing we need to do is to, let's just copy this. Let's copy this first. Don't let us do this. Let's do it here. Let's do it here. And right now let's say login, and the data type has to be correct. So we say login detail, and this should be login, and this should be login. Okay. So this should be okay. Not created, user logged in. Okay. So what else do we need to do? Let's just go ahead and test this out. Let's just go ahead and test it out right now. You can see we logged in and we're using the same data. So let me just make some mistakes. The users login details are incorrect, and if I try to log in with an email that does not exist, we get no user found with that email. Okay, so basically this is how we build our login functionality. But let's see that one error that I noticed right here is that this is returning 201. It shouldn't be returning 201, it should be returning 200, because we're basically not creating anything. So let's go back to our code, and right here we can force what's being returned, and I do http code. I think I've done something like that earlier in this video. I'll do the status dot okay. So this will cause the endpoint to return 200 instead of 201, and you can see we have that 200 right now. So that's for the login um, endpoint. We have the login endpoint right now, and let's go ahead and probably create some extra things. Um, let's say the access token expires. If the access token expire, we need to refresh that access token, and um, we need to refresh the access token, and we need to generate a new access token using that refresh token that has been passed. So let's quickly go ahead and create that refresh token method. Let's just create the logic for that. So we come to auth service, and right here let's go ahead and say public. This will be a public route, public async, async, and this will be refresh. Let's pass a body to this, refresh, refresh, and let's pass a body to this. This will be refresh token detail, and this will also return a promise user with token. Okay, and we can have something like this, and right here we can destructure the data from the fields. We can destructure the fields, and we say refresh token. Okay, so right now let's just go ahead and get the user equal to await this. um we 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 need to get um we need to build an helper for us that will help us generate a user from a refresh token. Okay, we need to generate a user from um, the refresh token. Let's see, do we actually need that? No, we don't actually need that. We can use the user service. Are we passing the user service right here? Let's go ahead and inject the user service right here. So this will be user service. Okay, and right here we just say dot user service dot get user, and right here we pass the refresh token um, um, dot id. We can do something like this, but that okay, okay. What we can do, let's see one of our hyperclass that we can use. We can use one of our hyperclass. Let's see that which hyperclass we can use. We can get user from token. We can use this right here. We can use this right here. So we don't need that user service because I was trying to do it directly before. So we can use auth dot this and we pass the refresh token to that. Now we have the user. Let's confirm we have the user right here. And what we can do right now is to return that user. Okay, we can return that user and generate return this dot auth dot generate token. Okay, and we pass the user to that. Yeah, so basically this is how we do it. And right now we can create the endpoint for that now to use that service. So let's just go ahead. We're going to refresh, and this will be refresh. This will be refresh, and this will be refresh token detail user refreshed successfully. Okay, and if we go ahead, let's just make sure everything works fine. Let's make sure everything works fine. Yeah, everything works fine. uh, Open that and let's duplicate this, refresh token, and right now this will be refresh. And if we pass that, refresh token is not passed, but if we should come here and copy that and come to our body, and we just say this is refresh token, delete all this and pass it right here, and we send that user not found. Let's see um what could be the issue. Okay, um let's send this again. Let me see, let's try this again. Copy that. That means there must be an issue somewhere. User not found. Okay, let me see, let's see what we are missing. We're missing something um on our refresh. Get user from token. Let's see, get user from token. JWT service verify token, yes. We're doing that, verifying tokens. um let me see, let me see how we are assigning the refresh token. Yeah, it's still with the same this thing. And let's quickly look where the error is coming from. um where the error we're getting, user is not found. So let me see where we're using that. User is not found. um Probably is here. This is it. User is not found. So let me see. This passing null. We're getting null from the refresh token. So that's why we're getting null. This is null. That means the ID that is being passed right here, it's not a valid ID. So let me try. Okay, okay. I see what's happening. I see what's happening. This should be dot ID. This should be dot ID. And if we should try this again, let's try this again. Yeah, we have the user data right now, but this might go ahead and affect. It doesn't affect our login. Let's try registration again. If it doesn't affect, yeah, it doesn't affect our registration, it doesn't affect our login. And yeah, we are refreshing that token. So basically this is how we do it. But then if you want to have a logout route, the token expires at the time that we assign when signing those tokens. So logout is somehow useless in this case. But then if you, let's say you want to have it just for formality's sake, you can just have a logout. You can just go ahead and create a um, logout endpoint, and this will be logout and logout. And right now we don't have the route, so let's go ahead and create that in our user service. So public async and logout. So this will be a single standalone function, and this will return a boolean, and let's just return true. So the reason why I'm doing the logout right now is just to, let's say, is just to let's take this out. It's just to, in the future you might want to do something with your user before you log them out. So this like a way for you to actually do that. But for now we're just going to return true. And right here we're just going to call this logout. And right now we just logout, logout, no body request, nothing. But for you to log out, that means you must be authenticated before. You must have been authenticated for you to say, oh, I want to log out. You have to be authenticated before. And we're going to use the guide that we created. Yeah, so this will be logout. It's not taking anything. And this is logout. And this returns a boolean. Yeah, we can just use the generic response here. This dot logout, and just take away the data and just use the generic 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 response that we created. Okay, so that just returns an empty object. If you remember, this just returns an empty object. So yeah, that's logout function. And if I click logout now, forbidding, that means I have to pass token the token to the header. So let's just do this right here, and instead of doing it for each route, we can just put it on the folder, like on the parent this thing. So right now we just say inherit for parent, and when we click this user refreshed, that logout has been done. Let me see, user logged out. So if we try that, user has been logged out right now, and the token is still valid, but we just want to build the logout functionality. So the token expires when the time that we give the token to expire, which is 2 hours. Yeah, so you can still use your token for anything. And basically, this is everything we need to do on the back end. And in the next video, we start with the front end, the React part of things, and we're going to see how that goes along. So I'll see you in the next video, guys.